Good morning and welcome to the final AMI Commutes of 2022. And in this video, we're going to be thinking a little bit about what the new year ahead holds for the channel, for content, and for possibly some additions. Let's get to it, shall we? So yes, it is New Year's Eve 2022. It is about 5:30 in the morning. I'm heading to work again on the same shift as I was at Christmas Eve, 6 a.m. Start. So hopefully it's going to be a little bit less busy than it was at Christmas Eve, although I'm not holding my breath. I fully envisage some large deliveries of booze and party food and all that lovely stuff today. So I'm sure it's going to be just as strenuous as it was at Christmas Eve, which I'm really looking forward to, as I'm sure you can tell. Especially after a good week off. Not doing very much at all, as you've seen. Definitely not doing much on the content front, despite hoping to. What I did manage to do was put together a 2022 year in review for EV news. So if you're interested in a bit more than just AMI, so the broader EV landscape in the UK, and you're interested in what might be affecting EV drivers, then head over and check out that video. There's a link in the description, and I'll put a little card up here, and you can check that out, because I've got a bit of a mixed camp in terms of my subscribers. We've got people that are just here for the AMI stuff. We've got people that are here for pretty much everything else, and then we've got people somewhere in between. So if the new stuff interests you, do check it out. I'm going to try and be a bit more regular with those uploads over 2023. That's definitely one of the main things I'm going to try to change with the channel, is a regular upload schedule of the new stuff, because there's quite a lot of people say that that's the main reason they watch, and it helps them stay up to speed with what's going on in the EV world. So we will definitely try to keep those more regular. I've noticed that if I compare 2021 to 2022, and so looking back, I was much more regular with those uploads in 21, and it makes a big difference to both, obviously the amount of views the channel gets, how well it's promoted by the YouTube algorithm. So I will definitely be trying to get that regular rhythm on the go in 2023. That doesn't mean that AMI content will be going anywhere, of course. If that's the main reason you're here, then I will also obviously be a mainstay of the channel. And even if it is just these commute videos, which I know some of you love, judging from the viewing figures, there's certainly a core of you that are keen on them, and so they'll be here to stay for the foreseeable. Although there is definitely, I can see that not everybody's a fan, and I understand that. So I think that's the great thing about YouTube, is if you don't quite like something that a creator's putting out, you just don't watch it, you watch something else. So I think that enough people are happy with these videos that they'll stay for a little bit longer as well. I would also need to try and make some progress with some different AMI content. So I mentioned before about perhaps trying to do comparisons with other older, classic vehicles that were, again, trying to be really small and economy focused. So I think we're going to try and do that sort of stuff. So if you've got something small, classic, economy focused, and even better if it is something weird and wonderful, some kind of quadricycle, even if you've got an old diesel axle kicking around, or anything like that, there's an email address in the comments. Give me an email, let me know what you have, where you are in the country, and what we'll try and do is arrange I'll come and drive what you have. You can have a go at AMI if you like, so we'll bring AMI along. And don't be put off if you're not anywhere near Gloucester. Whilst it would make great content to try and travel cross country with AMI, actually driving it and charging, what will actually in reality happen is I will bring it on a trailer, and we can do a bit of comparison. If you're comfortable being on camera, we can do that, but if not, don't worry about it, we can make the content work regardless. So if you've got something weird, wonderful, small, and sort of economy focused, let me know. Drop me an email, let me know, and obviously you need to be happy to let me use it in a video. But I think we're going to do a little bit of that. I think that's going to be quite a cool thing to do for 2023, is try and get a few of those in the books, because I think that there's always, people always make daft comparisons. Now don't get me wrong, what I'm not, one of the most common comparisons in the comments is, oh, you can buy a 15-year-old petrol car for a couple of £100 and you can drive that, and why would you spend $8 grand on a quadricycle? I mean, yes, that's true, but I'm not going to come and compare it to your 2005 Ford Focus. That's not the point here, right? I'm thinking like, you know, classic Fiat 500, smart car, those kind of things, Axle, anything really small, really economy driven. That's what we're thinking. And don't get me wrong, most of the time, the conclusion's probably going to be that actually, if you're only thinking about, you know, practicality and economy and stuff, then it's probably a better choice than that. But if you're taking into account zero emissions and ease of being able to just plug it in, charge at home and all that stuff, then it gets a little bit more complex. So this is not going to be about things that are going to be inferior to that. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the stuff I'm going to compare is going to be superior, but I think it's going to be quite entertaining. So that's where we're going to go. I'm also going to try to look at this sort of, I talked before about travel type stuff now. I'm still not sure about that. I'm not sure it fits with the sort of core interest of the channel, and I'm not sure it fits with my knowledge of towns and cities of England and the landmarks and all that stuff. So I don't know how good I'd be able to do that. I don't know if I'd be able to do it justice, but it's still something that's on the back burner that I'm thinking about. And I'm also thinking about maybe some like comparisons with other modes of transport. So people always tell me I should have bought a push bike instead. So maybe what we need to do is some comparison videos along those lines and put the two modes of transport side by side and compare things like journey time and things like comfort. I mean, it's raining lightly at the moment and it's a bit wet and miserable this morning. So whilst, yes, I'm not sitting in the lap of luxury here, I'll be definitely more miserable on a push bike. So I think that kind of stuff might be quite good. And let me know if you're interested in seeing some. I know there's one or two you already suggested comparing modes of transport. So, and the more weird and wonderful the better. But let me know if you've got any suggestions, and I'll see what I can do. I think the 2023 needs to be about broadening the types of content that we put out, but also doing a bit of what you want to see as well. So that will definitely be one of my things to focus on for the year ahead. I do hope this wind and rain goes away this morning, because that is not fun either. Yeah, even just loading the van and stuff in the rain, just make sure it's rubbish cold. I'm not sure I can be bothered. I mean, I can't really be bothered as it is this morning, but if it's wet and a bit meh, then that's not going to do much for my motivation levels. Hopefully things will improve. Very quiet this morning, as you might expect, at the far too early o'clock. The vast majority of people who are not having to work today clearly no intention of being awake at this time of the morning, and I can't say I blame them. Not that I'm better at all. So here we go then, another day, another dollar, eh? I will see you in a good few hours, and we will continue looking at what the year ahead has in store. Welcome to the future. We're done at last, done for the year, time to go home. And the next subject I want to talk to you about with regards to 2023 and the channel is merchandise. So, as you know, I'm sure if you watch a number of different YouTube channels, it's quite commonplace for people to sell merchandise, you know, with their logo on or whatever. And I've got some stickers with the channel logo on that are available to buy. I also have the AMI 28 mile an hour stickers to buy, which I've got a few AMI owners have now bought in the UK to warn the world around they're limited to 28. But I was wondering if there was maybe a call for any more sort of merchandise. So it's a little bit of a process. It's not really just a case of slapping a photo of an AMI on a t-shirt, which I think is what some people think of when you think of merch. It's just literally just get an image, put it on a t-shirt, good to go. What I would need to do is sort of commission an illustration, get an artist to draw me something with. Ideally, like the shape, the outline of the AMI, and then incorporate my logo somehow. Because the idea being, you need it to be something that's unique. To avoid any copyright issues, it needs to be something unique. So I would need to go down that route. And then, so I was wondering, you know, is there a call for maybe you know, AMI theme, but t-shirts, mugs, that kind of thing? So it's up to you guys really, because I see you're the ones that would be buying it if it became available. So I want you to let me know in the comments if I did start offering any kind of merch. What would you be looking for? And you know, let your imagination run wild. You know, some things will be much easier than other. You know, t-shirts, mugs, pens, all that kind of stuff, pretty easy. But then I'm sure there's going to be some wild suggestions. I've had people suggest before, you know, Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that. That's a little bit harder, and maybe we'd need to come in future releases. And there's two ways I can do it, really. So I can either do sort of print on demand, where basically once I have an image that's ready to go, I can get one of the print on demand suppliers to offer it, where you go along and you pick your size and you pick what kind of garment you want it to be printed on, and they will print that to order and they'll send that to you. And obviously the other alternative is I go to a supplier of like branded merchandise type stuff, and I get them to make me some stuff, and it means having to hold stock and all that kind of stuff. Advantage of print on demand would be that it is easier for me. I don't need to hold loads of stock, and if actually only 2 people in the world buy it, I don't end up with 100 t-shirts sitting gathering dust. But the downside of that is it would end up being a bit more expensive, so the printer takes a bit of bigger cut and it costs a bit more to get one-off items printed. Whereas if I had stuff printed up and held a bit of stock, it would definitely be cheaper for you guys. It would probably also, despite being cheaper for you guys, represent a better return for me. And overall probably be sort of better products in the long run, but I would need higher numbers to be interested. And one thing I thought about maybe doing is that once we decide on, and with your input, once we decide on what type of merch you'd like me to offer, I could then maybe take pre-orders. So once we have so many people that are interested, maybe take a small deposit. Once so many people are interested, we then get them printed and we send them out. And that might be one way to overcome those issues of holding stock. So I'm not sure, but let me know what you think. And equally, if the last thing you want in the world is a t-shirt with an Ami or my logo on, then let me know about that too. If you can't think of anything worse, then let me know, and I'll forget the idea. But I'm just trying to think of ways to, not only engage a bit better with you guys, but also help, monetize the channel a little bit better than just the YouTube ads alone. As I'm sure you can appreciate, making this content takes a lot of time. Especially stuff that's a bit more involved than this, just driving home from work and talking to a camera. Some of the other stuff, a lot more involved, takes a bit more time, a bit more money, a bit more effort. So, I'd like to balance that with what's coming in. And that was one of the drivers behind wanting to offer a bit of merchandise, but also just to spread the word a bit more. I'm sure that there's many of you that wear merchandise from certain channels, or you have stickers on your car or whatever, where you will be asked by someone else, oh, what's that all about? And it helps spread the word, so that's obviously a good thing too. It's not all about the money. Those are the main topics I would like your input on in the comments. So that's, what future video ideas would you like to see, and do you like the ones that I talked about earlier in this video? Are you interested in those? And are you interested in merchandise for the channel beyond the stickers that are currently available? And if so, what type of stuff would you want to see? So I want everybody that watches, that has an interest, to get into the comments and answer those 2 questions for me, and we can make sure that 2023 kicks off with a bang. As you can see, it's deeply miserable now this afternoon. We got reasonably heavy rain, so we had a pretty crappy weather this morning, just got crappier, and I did get soaked. So it's all part of the fun and games, I suppose. So as you probably notice, I now have the windows wide open even though it's raining, because I'm sweaty and horrible after a hard day. So we're just gonna accept the fact that there's a load of rain coming in here because I've got the windows wide open, because it's too warm otherwise. One of the very few times that Ami's actually a bit too warm is after a hard day at work. I'll probably need to get a towel or something and dry off these door cards when I get home, because the last thing you want is a load of retained moisture in here. You got people buying like those dehumidifier bags and stuff to try and keep moisture out, and I'm just letting a load of it in by driving around with the windows open in the rain. Sensible as always. Roads are busy as well. Like, everybody out buying last minute party food and booze for the New Year's Eve bash this evening. I mean, I could have sworn that everybody in the county was having it delivered by us today, but clearly that's not the case. First time we've driven in properly wet weather since having the motor replaced. No sign of any untoward noises from the drivetrain today. I think there was a few people speculating that the wet weather was the original cause of the sort of squealing noise from the drivetrain. Probably not so sure about that now, given obviously the motor was replaced, but no sign of any issues today, so that's all good. We do seem to be performing pretty well since that work was done. 408 miles on the clock as I sit in traffic today, I don't know, 412, 413 by the time we get home. So we're putting on the miles slowly but surely. I'm not getting out as much as I would like, although I mean last week, having a proper week off, a very, very lazy week, didn't barely move from the sofa all week, so it's no surprise we haven't put any miles on Amy in that time. Do you wonder if there might actually be a rugby match on today? An awful lot of people around, and I saw a sign for match day parking back there as well. See, Gloucester being a big rugby city. If there is a match on today, that will explain why it's quite so busy. It's maybe not all just booze hounds getting ready for a big bash tonight. I'll check the fixtures, maybe there is. It's got to be super, super busy. Loads of people walking down here in the direction of the stadium. I'm guessing there is rugby on today. Busy down here as well, and I've just realised the camera is not in 360 mode, so you can't actually see how busy the road is, but I'm glad I'm driving out of the city and not into it anyway, put it that way. So there we have it, the final AMI Commutes of 2022 and the final video of 2022. Please do let me know what you think in the comments on the various things we've discussed today. Head over next and watch that news summary video if you haven't seen it already, because there is some really interesting stuff in there about electric vehicles in general, not just about AMI. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a very happy new year when it comes, and I'll see you next time.